Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you guys are doing well. If you follow me here on YouTube or Instagram, you know that I like to find old beat up player grade vintage guitars and play them and dig into them here on my channel. Sometimes do some repair work to those guitars. But I found something really cool in this case, a modified vintage Gibson that I think you guys are gonna love. It's a really cool guitar, so let's dig into this thing. So here we have what looks like maybe a 1950s Gibson Les Paul Jr. It's got the tobacco burst finish and the darker back on it, but something is clearly wrong with this guitar. It's obviously been highly modified, but if you look at the headstock here, something doesn't look quite right. That's because this is actually a 1961 Gibson Melody Maker. And Gibson only made these guitars for 2 or 3 years in the single cut Les Paul body shape version, which is the most desirable version of this guitar. And for the money, I think really this is one of the best vintage Gibsons that you can buy. And then someone has gone in and modified this guitar extensively, as you can see, the electronics and some of the hardware as well. But honestly, the mods on this guitar really make it a better sounding and playing instrument. So we're gonna get into all the details today on this guitar. And of course, I'm gonna go through and play all the pickup positions so you can really get an idea of how this guitar sounds, which it sounds really, really good. So in 1959, Gibson released the Melody Maker, and this guitar was introduced as basically a cheaper alternative to the Les Paul, which according to the Gibson price guide was $300 in 1959, and then the Les Paul Custom was $400. So these were very expensive guitars for the 1950s, and for that reason, Gibson started to release these budget model guitars like the single pickup Les Paul Jr. and the Les Paul Special, and then finally the Melody Maker, which was only $109 in 1959. So definitely a substantial difference in price, but came with some cost-cutting measures. And the most notable is that this guitar is a lot thinner than a regular Les Paul. As you'll see there, it's more of like an SG thickness, which doesn't really bother me. I actually kind of like it. What's crazy is this guitar, fully loaded, only weighs 5.9 pounds, which I don't think you'll even find a SG standard that would be this lightweight. So it's really cool and very fun to play. And this guitar is also made out of the exact same old mahogany that, you know, 1950s Les Pauls were made of that are hundreds of thousands of dollars now. And the exact same necks, as you'll see. This one has all the paint played off the back, and it feels incredible. It's one thing I love about vintage guitars that are so played in. And then the only real difference here is the headstock shape, which is this thinner shape. Basically, it's missing the Gibson bookends that make that classic Gibson headstock shape, and then the tuners are moved in, which, to be honest, yeah, I don't really like the headstock shape on this guitar, but you know, I'm willing to sacrifice that for the price point of this guitar. It also has the beautiful dark rosewood fretboard and no binding, which to me is another plus. I prefer Gibson guitars without binding because, you know, when they're worn in and the fretboard edges are kind of rolled over, that's the perfect feeling neck to me. And sometimes the binding just doesn't wear as gracefully as the wood does. Now, the single cut Les Paul style melody makers would be discontinued in around 1961, so you could really only get these guitars in the Les Paul shape with the tobacco burst for about 2 or 3 years, and then they would go to the double cut version, which I'm not a huge fan of those, and then later the SG body shape, which I think they look pretty cool. But this guitar would come from the factory with an angled wraparound tailpiece and allegedly a very weak sounding single coil in the bridge pickup position. I've never played one myself, but that's what I've heard. And for that reason, many of these guitars would be modified. And as you can see here, someone put 2 70s T-top humbuckers in here, and they sound really good. So this is a guilt-free humbucker guitar, and I think this is about the best mod you could do to these old melody makers. I just wouldn't want to be the guy to do it myself, but someone has done it for me, and you know, for that reason, you get a really cool guitar at a better price point. So I want to go ahead and demo for you guys the pickups in this guitar. Like I said, I think they sound really good. So I'm going to go ahead and play for you the neck pickup, the middle, and the bridge pickup position so you can get a good idea of how it sounds. We've only got 1 volume and 1 tone, so it's a pretty simple guitar. So let's take a listen, and I'll talk to you guys some more about the cool features of this guitar. guys, let me know in the comment section what you think of the tone of this guitar. I mean, to me, this is the best of both worlds, really. You get the old mahogany, the rosewood fretboard, and some 70s T-tops, nitro lacquer finish. It doesn't get any better than that. And I mean, if you were to have Gibson build you this guitar in 2022, this thing would be really expensive. I mean, it would be in the thousands of dollars probably. And at the end of the day, this is the real deal, you know. So for the price point, I think this is a killer guitar. And you know, to have it already modified, it saves you some time and some money on your budget. I mean, these guitars will bring about $3,000 in original condition. So, you know, you can start to deduct value based on all the modifications. But yeah, I think this is about the best bang for your buck in terms of vintage Gibson guitars. And, you know, it's a full scale Les Paul. It's just a little bit thinner, you know what I mean? So there are a few other modifications on this guitar. As you can see, this bridge here is kind of odd. And I had to do some research to figure out where this came from, but this is off of a 1970s Gibson SG 200, kind of a rare one-off guitar. And they had this unique style bridge, and it actually works really well. You can see how the strings come over the saddles here, and it's all one piece. So personally, I really actually like the way this bridge works, and obviously you can adjust the intonation, so that's really nice. But I do prefer the look of the wraparound tailpiece. I mean, it's just a classic look, but I do like the way it feels. So I don't know if I'll go ahead and leave that. It does have some extra holes, and you can see where the studs for the original bridge would go. So it kind of looks like, you know, it needs a little bit of TLC, but for the moment it plays really good. It intonates perfectly, and it kind of makes this guitar unique, because I don't know where you would ever find a bridge like this today. Now, of course, this was the single pickup model guitar, so there's only one volume and one tone. They did make a dual pickup version, so you could get the 4 controls, but in doing that, they had to make this pick guard a lot bigger. And so I actually prefer this simpler look. And I mean, I love Les Paul Jr., so a volume and tone, that's ideal for me. Now also, they went in and put some crazy tuners on here. I mean, it seems like every single vintage Gibson I get, someone has gone in and put 10 different types of tuners on there. So this would have come with like your standard kind of 3 on a side Kluson tuners. And at some point this has had like, you know, Schaller tuners or something like that. And then finally they settled on these crazy looking like banjo tuners or something. I don't know what they are. They do work well, but I don't care for the look, to be honest. They've got a bunch of like washers and stuff. You just see this all the time. It's kind of an extensive repair to go in here and fix this and make it look right. So, you know, I'm not sure if I decide to keep the guitar, which I'm really leaning towards, because I don't know, I just really enjoy playing it. I might fix that myself. But it'll certainly take some time to do that. It does also need a refret. I mean, it's very playable as is, but I might go ahead and refret this guitar myself. I do all my own refrets. Sometimes I showcase it here on my YouTube channel. So yeah, I might do that. And we'll have to check in and play it again. But I think I really covered all the details on this guitar. There's a lot going on with it. There's a lot of history behind these. And that's just, you know, I really like digging into all that and doing the research and learning more about these historic guitars. I tried to look up who are some really notable players who played the Melody Maker, and I don't think there were a lot of people that used them, probably because the pickups were just not very good. And, you know, people didn't start modifying these until later on, I guess. But I found a really cool picture of Rory Gallagher playing one that looked exactly like this. Of course, Joanne Jett played the double cut version. And then Keith Urban also plays a double cut version. So there are a number of players. Gary Moore, actually, I found a picture of him playing one that looked just like this. But yeah, it's kind of hard to find any photo or video evidence of people using these guitars. If you guys know of anyone, let me know in the comments. But you know, also the fact that these were only made for a couple years. means that, you know, they probably didn't end up in a lot of players' hands. So that's what I got for you guys today. I'm gonna go ahead and play this thing some more and just have some fun with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and you wanna support what I'm doing here, just like, comment, share the video. That's really the best thing you can do. If you wanna follow me on Instagram at MatthewScott92, I post some other, you know, short videos, and I'm always posting pictures of cool new guitars I pick up. So yeah, this is one that I came across on Reverb, and it was just a cool guitar, so I had to pull the trigger on it. But so thanks again for watching, and hope you enjoy the tones. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.